Are you having volunteers at your next event and you want to make sure that you're taking care of them? Well, I have a couple suggestions of best practices that I've both experienced as a volunteer and utilized as an event manager at my recent events that have kept my volunteers happy, engaged, and wanting to come back again next year. Before we jump into it, I'm Logan Clements. I'm a freelance event producer based in Seattle, Washington, but I execute events here and all over the world. I do want to remind you to like, subscribe, turn on that little notification bell so you get notified every single Monday when I drop new videos. If you also like more free content, I'm the co-host of the Better Events podcast with fellow event pro Mary Davidson. We drop new episodes every single Wednesday where we dive even more into these topics. We do have an episode all about how to show gratitude at events. So for your volunteers, your clients, and more, I'll link that below so you can give a listen if you're just wanting to know how to continue to go above and beyond with how you thank people. So you have volunteers at your event, and we've all had those experiences if you're someone who's worked in events, or maybe you're just someone who's volunteered before, where maybe you left that experience with a less than ideal feeling about the organization, or you didn't feel utilized. And so these are a couple best practices that I have made sure that I do every single time I'm doing events in the last year, because I just think they make such an impact and help you have volunteers who want to continue to come back, donate their time, and help make your event a success. So my first one is to set clear expectations and schedule with your volunteers. And this needs to start from the recruiting process. So figuring out if you're going to do volunteers in shifts or if they need to be there for the entire day, and just really thinking through what time you need volunteers arrive, especially for setup and breakdown. And my second point for taking care of your volunteers is to schedule a virtual briefing call ahead of time. This can be the week before your event, this can be the week of your event, but just making sure that you are taking the time to schedule a call with them. It could be 30 minutes, a big group call, record it. It's just really helpful to get people together, help answer their questions, give them a little bit of the basics about the event and their roles. And the kicker here is it gives them time to process it. So it's a few less pieces of information that you're just throwing at them on your event day. And a fun kind of side effect that I've seen come from that is it really helps my retention. So the number of volunteers, the percentage of volunteers that come to that prep call who then show up is quite high. And it gives me a good inkling of those who don't make that call of maybe they're not going to show up for the event day. And so that just helps me avoid being understaffed for my events, especially if I'm utilizing volunteers. And my third tip for taking care of volunteers is making sure that you have meal breaks and snacks available for them, especially if it's a full day event. Often you'll need your volunteers to be mingling or maybe helping with something during the attendee meal break. So whether this is finding time for them to grab food before attendees grab food, or you have it delivered to a separate room where they can grab it when they need it, or just having enough bodies and people who are working your event to kind of rotate in and out. Because a well-fed staff is going to be a happy staff, so just make sure you're taking care of them just like you would your attendees. And then my last one is volunteers are donating their time, so make sure you take time to thank them. I want to thank everyone I work with, even the ones I pay, but especially your volunteers. And this is where a handwritten thank you card can go such a long way. I've done everything from a small $5 Starbucks gift card to the book that was giving it out to attendees. You're going to give that to your volunteers, or the hat, whatever swag you're giving out could be a fun idea, or just a card, but just acknowledging, thank you for spending your time with me. Thank you for being here. We couldn't have done this event without you. I also love getting group photos of the volunteers and things like that. So sending that out via email is also really nice, but you really can't beat something handwritten, and especially if you're able to treat them to something small. Well, that's all I have for you for taking care of volunteers at your next event. Hopefully that sets you up for success and has volunteers wanting to come back year after year, because I can't tell you how many times when I work with someone who tells me they have trouble getting volunteers, especially getting volunteers to return, that usually is a symptom of something larger. And these are just some small best practices that you can implement to set yourself and your organization up for success in the long run. Well, I'm Logan Clements. I'm a freelance event producer. This brings to the end of my video. I release videos every week on Mondays all about event production, event management, running your own business, Zoom tips, and more. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.